Today's topic is about speed, velocity, distance, displacement, and acceleration, and how we can use certain graphs to calculate each of these properties. So, first one, the difference between the distance and displacement. So, difference between distance and displacement. Distance, the difference between the 2 points. So, the difference between the 2 points is refers to distance. Like example, if I say we have two cities, city A and city B, and the highway between city A and city B, the length of this highway, example, if it's 300 kilometer long. So we will say the distance between point A and point B is equals to 300 kilometer. But what is the displacement? The shortest distance between the 2 points in a specific direction. So the shortest distance between the 2 points in a specific direction, we call that as a displacement. So in this example, what will be the displacement? For example, if I draw an arrow from A to B. So this arrow from A to B, this is the shortest distance and which is always in a straight line. So the black part is representing a displacement. Where the red part is representing the distance. So displacement should be specified with the direction, or it should have a specific direction like towards east, north, south, west. You have this compass, north is always up, south is down, east is towards right, and west is towards left. So the shortest distance between the 2 points is known as displacement, and the difference between the 2 points is known as distance. And the SI unit, the standard unit of distance is meter. The SI unit of displacement is also meter. But in distance, we don't specify a direction. Like example, if I say what is the distance between A and B, you will mention 300 kilometer. But you don't specify or use a direction. That is why distance is a scalar quantity, where displacement is a vector quantity. Is it clear, the difference between the two? The difference between the distance and displacement?
Why is the displacement vector and the distance is scalar? Why
Because
isn't it
when we specify a direction, like example, if I say A and B, and the highway between A and B, this is a highway, and the length of this highway, example, if it's 100 kilometer, the total length, because you can see here why in a distance we don't specify a direction, because direction of the motion is continuously changing. There is no fixed direction. Like first it was moving up, then it is moving right, then it's moving down. So you can see the direction is continuously changing. So when the direction is continuously changing, you cannot specify or you cannot use one direction. That is why distance is not, we don't use a direction. But for a displacement, which is the shortest distance and it is having a particular direction, so we represent by a direction. So why distance is not represented by a direction? Because it is continuously changing. So there is no fixed direction which you can say that is a direction in which the object moves. But in a displacement, only one direction is there. That's why displacement is a vector quantity which is specified by specific direction. Is it clear?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, the displacement itself can be a distance, right, between 2 points?
Yeah, displacement can be distance, but it should be a specific direction. Like sometimes distance and displacements are equal. Example, if I say an object move from A to B, and the difference between A and B was say 10 meters. So if I say what is the distance here from A to B, you will say the distance is 10. And what about displacement? Displacement is the shortest distance. So when I draw an arrow to show a displacement from A to B, so what will be the displacement? The displacement will also be 10. But displacement, you must specify a direction because this object is moving. This is north, south, east, and west. So it is 10 meter towards east. So distance does not have a direction. Displacement is having a direction. Yes, Ahmed, Umar. You have a question, Ahmed? Ahmed Umar. Okay. So sometimes the distance and displacements are same. The values are same, but because scientifically distance we don't specify a direction and displacement we specified by a direction. Another example, say this was 5 meter, but the object moved first from to another point which is 3 meters, and then move to point B 7 meters. What if the question is what is the distance? So what is the distance traveled by the object? The object
10
move,
meters.
move from A to, say example, C, and then from C to B. So what is the distance traveled by the object? So in this example, the distance is equals to 10. But what about displacement? Displacement is the shortest distance. So what is the displacement here? Displacement is equals to 5 meter, and it should be specified by a direction. So if it's towards right, you can also mention right. If it's up, down, east, west, north, or south. Because first the object moved 3 meter and then the object moves 7 meters. So what is the distance? So it will be 3 plus 7. So 3 plus 7, what it makes? It makes 10. But the distance, the shortest distance between A and B is equals to 5. So if the question is what is the displacement? So in this example, the displacement is equals to 5. So some questions you may have the same distance and displacement, and some questions the distance and displacement might be different from each other. You can write either right or you can mention east as well. Same thing, another example. And now object is at position A. It moves 3 meters. Then 10 meter. And then return back to the same starting point after covering 7 meter. If I ask what is the distance here? What is the distance traveled by this object? 3 plus 10 plus 7. The distance. Object first move from A to B, then move from B to C, and then again return to C to A. The distance traveled by the object is equal to 20 meters. What about displacement?
7.
So what is the displacement? Object return back to the same starting point or original. So it is start and end at the same. This was a starting point and end at the same point. So what is the displacement? Displacement is 0 because it returned back to the same point. So there is no displacement. Is it clear? When you return, because there is no displacement between the starting and the ending point. The starting and the ending points are same. That's why the displacement is 0. So object covers some length, but the displacement is the shortest distance between the 2 points. But if the starting and the ending points are same, in that case the displacement will be 0.
Sir, can you repeat why it's going to be 0?
Yeah, because the displacement is the difference between the shortest distance between the starting and the end point. But what happened in this example, the starting point and ending point is same. Like the object moves from A to B, then move from B to C, and then return back from C to A again. So the point where it started, it's the same point it returned. So this and the displacement is measured from the starting to the end point. If the starting and end points are same, it means the object does not cover any displacement. So in that case, the displacement will be 0. Is it clear? So if your starting point and end point are same, so no displacement. Another example. An object travel from A to B, cover 15 meters. Then move from B to C, cover 7 meters. (6 meter). Example 9. Return back to A. What is the distance traveled by the object? What is the distance traveled by the object? Object move from A to B, then B to C, then C to D, and again return back.
35.
So 15 plus 7, yeah, 15 plus 7, 22 plus 6, and then 9, so it will be 35 meters. But what about 22, 28, yeah, 37 basically. But what about displacement? Displacement means the shortest distance between the 2 points?
0.
So because the starting and the ending point is same, so displacement will be 0 meters. Another example in which the displacement is not 0, example if I say an object travel from A to B and it cover 15 meters. Then object return from B to another point C by covering, say this was 12 meters. Now in this example, what is the distance? Distance traveled by the object.
27.
So the distance traveled is 27. But what about displacement?
3.
Yeah, so displacement is the shortest distance between the 2 points or starting and ending point. So this total was 15. This total was 15 towards right. So in vector quantity, how we can distinguish that as the direction change or direction become opposite. So if one is positive, the other one will be negative. Like if right hand side I consider positive, then the left hand side displacement I'll consider as negative. So to calculate a displacement, it's plus 15 means moving towards right, and minus 12 means moving towards left. So plus 15 minus 12, it will give plus 3 or 3 meter. And plus means right or east, so it is 3 meter towards right. Is it clear, this example? Because displacement is a vector quantity. For a vector quantity, if the directions are opposite for a vector quantity, one we represent by a positive, another one we represent by a negative. So this displacement from the starting point, this will be equal to 3 meter, and with what direction? It is towards right hand side. Is it clear, the concept of distance and displacement?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, for the distance that is 15 meters, it
Yes.
is in the right direction, right?
Yeah, but distance is a scalar quantity, and scalar quantity we don't specify a direction, we just add their magnitudes, the number.
No,
So
sir, I'm
even
talking about the displacement.
displacement, okay.
See, the distance in the right hand side, it's 15 meters. You took that as the positive value.
Okay.
And the one which is on the left side, you took it as the negative value.
Right.
And after calculating, we got the answer as positive. Is this the reason you wrote that
Yeah, that's the reason why
direction is right?
yeah, that's the reason why I mentioned the direction is towards
So
right.
if the final answer was negative, then you would have written left, right,
Left.
sir?
Right.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir,
Yes.
should we mention the sign if it was positive or negative? Like you
Yeah.
mentioned earlier.
Yeah, for positive, you have to, for vector quantities, you have to mention positive or negative. Because displacement is a vector quantity, so you should specify displacement. I will give another example. So always you should use a sign, either a positive or negative. If the direction changes, then if one direction you took as positive, other will be negative. Example, if I say an object is at A, the object travel to point B and cover 7 meters, and then object from B, it moves in opposite direction and cover 12 meters. Okay, that's the question. To point C, if I say what is the distance travel here? What is the distance? Distance travel by the object.
So what is the starting point?
Starting point is A. The question is, what is the distance traveled by the object? So it is 7 plus
19.
12, which is equals to 19. But for calculating a displacement, now it's up to you. Which one you are taking as positive, the other one should be negative.
Negative.
Example, if I'm taking right hand side as positive, then left hand side will be negative. So what is the displacement? Plus 7 and minus 12. So plus 7 minus 12, what I will get? I will get minus 5 meter. So what negative sign shows? Because the right hand side direction I took as positive and the left hand side direction I took as negative. So it's giving me a negative value. What it means? Negative means it is towards left. Is it clear? So you can see here this shows that it is towards left from the starting point. So for distance, we don't specify a direction, but for displacement, we should specify or use a direction, because without a direction, displacement is incomplete. It's a vector quantity, and vector quantities can only be explained by direction. But sometimes example, if I say an object is at position A, move to position B, and then to position C. So first it moved from A to B, and then it will move from B to C. In this case, the direction is not opposite. The direction is perpendicular or 90 degree to the first one. So I cannot take positive or negative. If the direction become opposite, then only if one I took as positive, the other one will be negative. But in this example, first it moved towards right and then it moves upward. If I say this is 3 meters and this one is 5 meters. Now the question is, what is the distance traveled by the object? So distance traveled by the object in this example, which is 3 plus 5 equals to 8. 8 meter, that's a distance. But how to get a displacement in these type of questions? For this displacement, in mathematics, you will learn a Pythagoras theorem. So distance is equal to 8. But what about displacement? Displacement is the shortest distance between the 2 points. So means this will be the displacement, and we don't know this. So whenever we are finding a displacement, when the angle between the two distances is 90, what we will use? We will use Pythagoras theorem. According to this, if we have a triangle, maybe you studied before in maths. If you have a right angle triangle, a triangle in which one of the angle is 90. Yeah. So using a Pythagoras theorem, this one is the hypotenuse, base, perpendicular. So if I need a hypotenuse, it's equals to square root of base plus perpendicular. So square root of base, what is base? It's 3 plus perpendicular, which is 5. So 3 square is equals to 9 and 5 square is equals to 25. So 3 square plus 5 square, it will be 34. Square root of 34. What's the square root of 34?
5.8.
5.4?
5.8.
5.8 meter. So this will be the displacement. So in this example, the displacement is equals to 5.8 8 meters. Is it clear? So if it is 90 degree or perpendicular, you will use the Pythagoras theorem. If the direction only changes, like move towards right then left, simply you will subtract and you will get the final answer. Any doubt in this? Another example you will work out and just mention the answer here. So an object travel 4 meters and then 3 meters. The question is, what is the distance traveled by object from A to B? From A to C, and displacement from A to C. So what is the distance traveled? First it moved 4 meters, then 3 meters. So we will simply add them, which is 4 plus 3 is equals to 7 meters. But for displacement, which is the distance, the shortest distance between the 2 points, so you will draw a line. So it will make a Pythagoras. Again, you will apply. You need this unknown side. Displacement is x, so x is equals to square root of 3 plus square root of square of 3 plus square of 4 in a square root. 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16. It will be in a square root. 9 plus 16 is 25. Square root of 25 is equals to 5. So the displacement is actually 5 meters. Yes, Abdul Rahman?
Mr. Here we would say that the displacement is 5 meters downwards.
No. Now, what will be the direction? That's a good question. How you will specify a direction? You will make a compass here. You will make a compass here. North is up, south is down, east is towards right, west is towards left. Direction can have two meaning. Direction, like you can say right, left, upward, downward, east, west, north, south, or you can also mention an angle. You can measure this angle. You can, using a protractor, you can measure this angle. Example, if this angle was 30, example. So you'll mention 5 meters and 30 degrees from east. So 30 degree from east it is making 30 degree. That's why it's 30 degree from east, and 5 meter is a distance. The 5 meter is the value, the magnitude. And 30 degree from east is the direction. Is it clear? So this part is a direction, this part is a magnitude and unit.
Sir,
Yes?
they ask displacement from A to B. We will just say 4 meters, right?
Can you repeat the question? If the question is
Displacement from A to B. We
A
will
to B.
just say 4
Yeah.
meters, right?
Yeah, you will, if the question, you will mention 4 meter, but you will specify a displacement. Like if I say the same question, if I say distance from A to B, so the distance is 4 meter. But if I say displacement from A to B, so you will mention 4 meter towards right, or you can mention towards east, because right side or east having a same meaning. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, if anyone want to take a screenshot, can take now. I will move on to next topic. Angle you have to, in which case, Zakaria, what will be the angle in this example? In this example, you don't have to mention an angle because it is exactly in the direction of east. When it is not exactly in the direction of, yeah, from A to B, actually it's exactly in the direction of east. So we don't have to specify a direction. But if it is not exactly, like example, if this is a compass, an object was moving in this way, it's not in east, it's not in west, it's not like, it's a combination. So in that case, you can measure the angle from east and tell 30 degrees from east, or you can measure angle from south. So you can mention the angle. But in this example, from A to B, it was exactly moving in the direction of east, so we don't specify the angle, or we don't use the angle to explain the answer. Next is the difference between the speed and velocity. So what is the speed? It is distance travel in unit time. And what is velocity? It is displacement in unit time. So the formula to calculate speed is equals to distance divided by time, where velocity is displacement divided by time. So example, if I say an object at point A move to new position, point B, and cover 5 meters in 2 seconds. If the question is, the distance here is 5 meters, and so if the question is calculate speed, so what is the speed? The speed is equals to distance travel in a unit time. So distance was 5 and the time is equals to 2. So it will be 5 divided by 2, which is equals to 2.5 meter per second. The SI unit, the standard unit for speed, is meter per second. Other unit can be kilometer per hour or miles per hour, but the SI unit is meter per second. So how much distance covered by the object in a unit time, or in 1 second, in 1 hour, or 1 minute, in a specific time interval, we call that as a speed. But what is velocity? Velocity is displacement. Velocity is displacement in a unit time. So in this example, if I say an object move in a straight line. So when object is moving in a straight line, the object does not change its direction. That time the distance and displacements are always equal. If the object does not change direction, it moves, for example, the same 5 meter. And so if I need a velocity, so velocity is displacement over time. What is the displacement? It's 5 meter towards east. And what is the time? Time is equals to 2 seconds. So divided by 2. So what I'll get, 5 divided by 2, I will get 2.5 meter per second, but it will also have a direction, and in this example the direction is towards east. So speed is a scalar quantity. Speed does not have a direction, where velocity is a vector quantity. So displacement in unit time is called velocity, distance in unit time is called speed. But if object move in a straight line,
The SI unit for velocity is meter per second.
yeah, the SI unit for velocity is also meter per second. If object move in a straight line, that time, remember always, the distance will always be equal to displacement, the values. So there is no difference in that case. If I'm moving in a straight line, the distance traveled by me is same as the displacement covered. And the SI unit for velocity is also meter per second. There are other units such as kilometer per hour, but the main unit is meter per second. Is it clear, the concept of speed and velocity? So distance in a unit time we call speed, displacement in a unit time we called as velocity. And one of them is a scalar quantity because no direction. Other one is a vector. Velocity is a vector because it's having a direction. Take a screenshot, then I will give more examples how you can solve. Like, so when object move in a straight line, the value of the speed and the value of the velocity will also be same. Like you can see here, if this object was moving in a straight line, the speed was 2.5, the velocity is also 2.5. The only difference is the direction. Speed is not having a direction, where velocity is having a direction. So in this example, this is an example we just did. Example, an object was at A, it moved to B, and then from B it will move to C. So moving from A to B, it took 10 seconds. And moving from B to C, it took 5 seconds. Okay. So what is the total time taken for object to move from A to C? The total time taken was 15 seconds. If the question is, what is the speed? What is the speed of object from A to C? So how you can mention a speed? Speed is distance over time. So what was the distance from A to B? First it traveled 4 meters, then it traveled 3 meters. So distance was 7. And what is the time? Time is equals to 15. So 7 divided by 15. What will be the answer? 0.46. So this is 0.46 or 0.46 meter per second. That's a speed. But if the question, the same question was velocity. So what is the velocity here from A to C? Velocity is displacement over time. So what was the displacement from A to C? The displacement was 5. And 5 meter. And the time was 15. So 5 divided by 15, which is equals to 0.33 meter per second. And what is the direction? The direction is same. It will be 30 degrees from east. So it is 0.33 meter per second, which is 30 degrees from east. Is it clear? So when we calculate a speed, if object is moving in a straight line, that time speed and velocities are same. But if object is not moving in a straight line, speed is distance divided by time, where velocity is displacement divided by time.